Over the last 3 months, I've been taking swimming lessons to get over the fear of drowning. In that period, I've learned some things, but I've also learned how to deal with my fear, which I think you might find helpful. Whether you have a fear of rejection, failure, situations, environments, fear is the same for everyone. It can be soul destroying, but also very limiting. Now, my fear of drowning started in school. When I was a kid, I was so excited for my first swimming lesson. I saw the pool, I ran over and jumped in. But as soon as I landed, I slipped onto my back. Water was going in my mouth, nose, eyes, ears. And I still remember shouting to the swimming instructor, "I'm drowning, I'm drowning, I'm drowning." The swimming instructor stayed on the sideline and shouted back, "Stand up, what you doing? Just stand up." What lasted a few minutes felt like a lifetime. After that, I had a massive fear of drowning. It can take one situation to change the course of your life, but also stop you from taking action. You might have fear of rejection, failure, certain environments, even certain situations. Fear is the same for everyone. It creates a barrier that stops you from taking action. But if you can face your fears, but also become comfortable in your environment, I guarantee it will change your life. So here are some of the things I've learned over the last 3 months that will help you to face your fears. The first thing I want to say about facing your fears is that everyone experiences fear, so you're not alone. The problems only start is when you let those fears control your life, but also your actions. Fear is something that can help you get out of tricky situations, avoid danger, but also keep you safe. Therefore, fear is not necessarily a bad thing. But if you let fear control your life, but also every action, you can miss out on so many things. The fear of rejection can lead to a life of loneliness. The fear of failure can stop you from starting your own business. The fear of what other people are going to say can stop you from posting on social media. These are all things that can change your life for the better, but fear can stop you from taking action. Therefore, you can miss out on an opportunity that could potentially make your life a lot better. That's why it's so important you face your fears. Just remember, you're not alone, and the person who faces their fears is the one who succeeds but also ends up on top. Now, your imagination can be one of the most powerful but also amazing tools to get the things that you want but also change your life. But it also can be one of the worst tools when you're facing your fears, because your imagination can create scenarios which feel so real. When you're trying to face your fears, you will think of every negative, every bad thing that could potentially happen. Your imagination has the power to make it feel so real that you don't want to face your fears. I've been there. Whilst taking my swimming lessons, I would think of every worst case scenario. For so long, I put off taking swimming lessons. Therefore, I know what it feels like when your imagination takes over, but can also make you lose the motivation to face your fears. So I know the tricks that your imagination can play on you, but it's something you have to work on if you want to face your fears. And the way I did this is by replacing those negative thoughts with positive ones. I started to think of all the things I could do once I conquered my fears. The ability to go snorkeling in Thailand, because not being able to swim, but also the fear of drowning robbed me of that twice. The ability to go to water parks and have fun, and just having the ability to swim every day without fear. So let's just say you have a fear of getting rejected by a girl. Instead of thinking of the embarrassment you would go through and how you would feel stupid, start to think of yourself having a nice conversation and enjoying that interaction with that girl. If you can start to focus on the positives, you will not only behave better in that situation, you will start to enjoy the process of facing your fears. Your mind is a powerful tool, and we don't use it enough to get the things that we want. So instead of focusing on all the negatives, start to focus on the positives. This will make it easier to face your fears. Furthermore, if things don't go your way, just remember you've gained some valuable experience. Use that moment, that interaction, that situation to learn. A little bit of positive thinking can go a long way. One thing I didn't expect when I finally faced my fears, that it would still be lurking there in the back of my mind. Even though I'd taken swimming lessons for 3 months, it was still there. I was expecting my fear of drowning to go away after a couple of swimming lessons, but that didn't happen. So if you're still suffering with fear after you faced it, don't worry, because what I've come to realize is every time you face your fears, you become a lot more comfortable in your environment. So it's only a matter of time you get over your fears, and with time your fear will go away. I never thought I'd be able to go into deep water. Now I've been swimming but also snorkeling in deep water. You've built fear over the years, so it can take a bit of time to conquer those fears. But every time you face your fears, you'll become more comfortable in your environment, reducing your fear each time. Therefore, it may take a little bit longer to get over your fears. So don't get frustrated if a few weeks into doing the things that you want to do, you still get anxious or nervous. Over time, you will conquer your fear, but also overcome it. But you can't get frustrated in those early stages because it can take a little bit longer for some people to get over their fears. Furthermore, when you face your fears, you're building confidence, but also rewiring your brain to do hard things, which makes you mentally stronger. You may not see it now, but it's happening behind the scenes. Therefore, don't let fear stop you from doing the things that you want. You may not get over it straight away, but over time, you will conquer your fears. Now, there'll be no perfect time to face your fears. The longer you wait, the greater your fear will become. There'll never be a perfect situation, scenario, environment. Therefore, you have to face your fears as soon as you can. You're wasting vital time that you can't get back. As you get older, time moves a lot faster, and there will come a point in your life where you won't be able to do the things that you want. Now, I'm one of those people saying that it's never too late. But your physical health can change at any time. It can stop you from doing the things that you want. Therefore, you can't wait for the perfect time to face your fears. You need to do it straight away. It's one of my biggest regrets not facing my fears sooner. It cost me on so many different levels, from my life to my finances. Therefore, I recommend you face your fears as soon as you can, because the longer you wait, the harder it'll become. Another important thing when facing your fears is that you become relentless. There will be days when you don't want to do the things you have to, but those are the days where you've got to turn up. There will be days where you make progress, and there will be days where you feel like you're going backwards. But when you're relentless, you will overcome your fears, but you will achieve things that you never thought were possible. The more effort you put in, the more you'll get out. Currently, I'm only taking one swimming lesson, which I think is holding me back. So I'm going to up my lessons to 2 or 3 times a week if I can. I think by putting in that little bit more effort will help me to progress a lot faster, but also a lot further. Facing your fears can be hard, but here are 2 things I like to do that help me to stay relaxed. Number 1, breathe. When we don't breathe properly, we end up getting stiff, but also we can't think clearly. By just breathing properly in and out through your nose can help you to relax, but also face your fears. Taking a few deep breaths in and out through your nose can help you to stay calm, think clearly, but also help you to deal with those difficult situations. When you're relaxed, you can do anything. But when you're anxious and nervous, you're not able to behave, speak, act properly. Therefore, whenever you're suffering with fear, take some time to breathe. Go to a corner if you have to. Take yourself out of a situation and just breathe properly for a few seconds. This will change your mood, but also the way you behave. Another thing I like to do is visualize myself staying calm, but also relaxed in my environment. I picture myself in the pool, swimming, staying nice and relaxed, swimming one side to the other, not panicking, and staying in control of my mind, but also my actions. When you visualize yourself doing something, you can make it a reality. Therefore, visualization can help you on so many different levels. Don't underestimate this one powerful technique. If you face your fears, it'll be one of the best things you do because it'll give you the ability to do whatever you want. But if you're broke, you'll stay stuck. That's why you might want to click on the next video.